Well, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Uh, my name is Brian Nepper, and I'm a Wisconsin Conservation Warden. I work for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, which is a very large organization. We have nearly 4,000 employees, and the Bureau of Law Enforcement is just one of the facets of Wisconsin DNR. We are charged as a bureau to protect our natural resources, enhance opportunities for members of the public to enjoy those natural resources, whether it be hunting, fishing, hiking, canoeing, boating. Um, we have our traditional, what we call our hook and bullet stuff, which is, your deer hunting and your fishing. But we also have a lot of people that like to use the state parks and the silent sports, cross country skiing. So, as a department, we make sure that people can enjoy Wisconsin's blessed natural resources. And again, our bureau serves as kind of the enforcement arm, if you will, for the agency, which means that we regulate things. We regulate hunting, we regulate fishing. There's size limits, bag limits. When you talk about state parks, there's user fees, there's quiet hours, stuff like that. So the Bureau of Law Enforcement, um, we independently go patrol and look for people that are breaking the law when it comes to hunting, fishing, or what we come across our environmental program, which consists of businesses that might be polluting and commercial fishing on the Great Lakes, or the commercialization of wildlife that was maybe taken illegally in Wisconsin and brought to another state. So we do that independently, and we also partner with all of the other divisions within the agency. So we have um, many different programs. We've got our hazardous waste program, we've got our air quality, our drinking water program, our groundwater program, our forestry program, and often the other divisions will come to us to identify a problem or an issue within their program for somebody that they regulate. So it could be a timber theft, it could be a company that's dumping hazardous waste out the back door that poses a threat to the environment, and they come to us to help them solve those issues and bring businesses and people back into compliance. Or we end up taking them to court and they get some type of punishment out of it. Either they lose a license, or somebody could go to jail. They pay a big fine when we find out that they're harming the environment. So that's kind of where we sit as Wisconsin wardens. The first warden was actually hired in 1879. So the warden service is 141 years old. We have a deep and rich history. Right now, we're somewhere, our bureau is right around 300, but we have right around, it's 200 give or take officers. And some of those are part-time. So when it comes to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resource Bureau of Law Enforcement, we're kind of a police force within an agency. And probably the best way to start this off is to ask that we actually, if Mary Jean can play that. What I have for you is a very short recruiting video, and that'll kind of show you all the different things that we get involved with. I can sit here and I can talk about, we patrol this, we watch for that, we help here, we educate there, we outreach in this fashion. But if you wanted to take a quick look at this recruiting video, this will really show what we do and what we're about. And I can just pick it up after the video stops. So I'll go ahead and I'll mute here and I'll pick it back up when Mary Jean says I can.
Okay. Can everyone see this? See the video?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Need to increase the sound though.
That's what I'm doing. Is that better?
Outside, we hear the drum of nature calling our hearts. Outside, where the wind sings through the forest and the water laps the soles of our boots, where life is truly wild, where honor and integrity are more than mere words, where my work is my reward. This is my office. Be a Wisconsin Conservation Warden.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
We can. I don't know about others, Brian, but it makes me want to be a conservation warden.
That seemed pretty cool. I love that office.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's pretty exciting. You know, I don't really have a formal agenda. I was just going to kind of talk from the heart and just try to be real genuine with you today and open it up to questions as you have them. So I guess my experience being a warden goes way back. I started my career as a park ranger working the summers in Willow River State Park. And then I transitioned to a sheriff's deputy out of Sawyer County for a while. And then I was lucky enough to get hired as a warden full-time in the year 2000. I was stationed in Clark County, if you guys know where that is, by Neilsville, Wisconsin, for about 4.5 years. And I worked a lot with local communities there, solving problems. We had a lot of deer hunting, a lot of bear hunting, turkey. We had a pretty rural station there. I had some Amish community, I had Mennonite community, and there's challenges there because in today's world, if you don't have internet or a telephone, it can be challenging. So everything that we do nowadays seems to be either on a smartphone or on a computer over Wi-Fi. And think of the challenges of trying to buy your license if you can't go somewhere and buy one if you're from one of those communities. So one of the things I did as a warden in Clark County was really work side by side with the Amish and Mennonite community to make sure that they were on a level playing field with the rest of the world. And I would stop by and I would talk about new regulations or concerns that the community would have. And I got to know a couple of their community leaders, and I would just stop by their house just periodically and see, hey, how are things going? Do you need anything? Um, Little things like when they would shoot a deer, they would actually have to load it onto a horse and buggy, bring it into town and have it registered back in those days. And by me stopping over to their homes as I could, it really took a burden off them from having to run deer into town by horse and buggy. So building those relationships with the local community was just as important, if not more important, than actually catching bad guys. I've had my chance to catch a fair share of bad guys, which include all sorts of stuff. Shooting deer at night, shooting, bear, turkey, out of season, shooting protected species. I once caught a guy trapping bald eagles. It was a federal case. So let's move on. So I moved from Clark County to Washburn County, which is up by Spooner. And there you had a bit of the North Woods. Same kind of field station responsibilities, a few more people, kind of the same issues, more ATV snowmobile stuff. And as I was watching that video, I was just thinking, it's so much more than just writing tickets. Why are we even here as natural resource officers? The reason why we're here is we're trying to prevent people from either hurting themselves, killing themselves, or hurting or killing somebody else. So we provide a lot of outreach and education as it relates to our safety courses, ATV safety, boat safety, hunter education, trapper education. You'll find a warden that presents at every one of those courses, just to start to build that relationship with the youngsters that are getting into the sport. You know, we right now what's something that's really popular is the UTVs, which is, it's like an ATV, but it's a little bit bigger and you can sit a couple more people in there. We're having a lot of crashes with those. We're having a lot of injuries and deaths with people crashing UTVs. So what are we doing? We go out, number one, we're working as an agency to promote and help write good laws, making sure that there's a seatbelt law, making sure that there's a law in place that restricts the number of people that can be on the machine, because if it were to roll over, you want to make sure that everybody's protected in that vehicle in a certain way that it's designed to have multiple passengers. And you want to go out and you want to enforce the rules, enforce the laws to bring everybody into compliance so that you bring down the injury and death rate. That's what it's all about. It would be no different than a state patrol officer that's out on the highway with a radar gun checking to see how fast cars are going. You know, you need good laws, and you need to go enforce those laws here and there to kind of, you know, make sure that people are abiding by the laws and keeping everybody else safe. So that's why we exist. We exist to educate people, to be a resource for people, and to enforce the laws. Anyway, when I was in Spooner, I was there for like another 4 years, and then I promoted to, we have investigators. So just like a police force would have a detective, I was a detective for environmental crimes for, again, like 4.5 years. That seems to be the magic number. So for 4.5 years, my focus was on businesses and corporations or government entities that were breaking, you know, criminal large-scale environmental laws. So I worked on a lot of different things. I worked on, you know, and you guys probably don't know what a wastewater treatment facility is, but, you know, all of the water that we have gets recycled more or less. And what you put down the drain matters because it'll show up at some other given time. And we work with these facilities to make sure that they're testing for heavy metals, that they're doing things right. And so that's a big one, to make sure that the drinking water is clean. And we have industries sometimes that instead of treating their wastewater the way they should, they get rid of it and it ends up at our wastewater treatment facilities with really bad stuff in it. So I had several cases where we had companies that were putting really bad things down drains. And, you know, what you don't ultimately want is for families to ingest that in their drinking water, and it could kill you. So it's very important that we have people watching and that we have people enforcing those laws. I had companies that buried hazardous waste, you know, under building foundations in their backyard. I had people trying to reclaim gold off from stolen parts that they got from work. There was a fella that had gold-plated stainless steel. He was stealing it from his place of work. He was going out into the county forest and he was bringing heavy acids out there in 5-gallon pails, and he had a process to take that gold off from that stainless steel. But what he was leaving behind in the woods were numerous 5-gallon pails of acid that would almost eat, if you put your hand in it and brought it back out, it would eat your skin and your bones and all of that stuff off your hand. So could you imagine if you were a squirrel hunter, a hiker, a mountain biker, a bird watcher, anything, walking through the woods, and you or your dog or somebody spills that on your skin, how devastating that would be? So I worked that case and brought that to a conclusion, found the bad guy that was doing all of that stuff, and that was a really fun one. So I focused on the environmental stuff for about 4.5 years. And then in 2012, I took a promotion down to Madison, which is where I'm at right now. And I'm the Homeland Security Administrator for Bureau of Law Enforcement. Well, what does that mean? What does Homeland Security have anything to do with Wisconsin DNR game wardens? Well, believe it or not, a lot. The Wisconsin DNR touches almost every facet of your life. When it comes to natural resources, trees, water, air, everything that you do, you turn on a light switch, you flush the toilet, you do anything, and that is impacted by natural resources. And as a Bureau of Law Enforcement, we're on the Great Lakes patrolling there. So we have presence. We have officers that are out there checking commercial fishermen, enforcing recreational boating laws. We're in every single county, of course, in the state, working with the local sheriff's departments, the local police departments, the state troopers, the Department of Justice agents. We're all connected and there to help each other out. And so we are a resource when needed. So literally every time the president comes to Wisconsin, the vice president comes to Wisconsin, or the governor goes somewhere, I'm often called, and a part of that, we actually provide game wardens to help with security for those major either state or national security events. I know you guys are probably too young to know what the Democratic National Convention is or the Ryder Cup, but those are really big public safety events that draw lots of people to our state. And we are often called upon to help out the other law enforcement agencies as much as we can in those situations. Most of the time, we'll take the duties that are on or around the water or the woods that are more rural duties, but we have done lots of stuff at the Wisconsin State Capitol when there's been either protests or other events. We go down and we put wardens in the state capitol on a very frequent basis. So we're dynamic. We do go on the water. We are, the woods, the water, the air, the ice, all of that stuff. But you can also find us right alongside the Dane County Sheriff's Department or the City of Madison officers when they call us for that type of stuff. So that's where I'm at currently. That's what we do. And I've been in this role for about 9 years. So, when Mary Jean was showing the video of the snowmobiles going by and the ATVs, and it looked like everybody was enjoying themselves so much. I did a lot of that in my younger days. And it was truly that was probably the most fun part about the job. But this job here has given me so many unique experiences and meeting so many people from around the world. So I've been able to enjoy almost everything that this Bureau has to offer so far. Are there any questions? I'll watch this chat, but I'll just take a second to see if there's any questions that you have about who we are or what it is that we actually do. I'll mention our state parks while I'm kind of waiting for somebody. So one of the things that was recently took place with our department is that we merged two programs together. Traditionally, we had what were called park rangers, and that's what I started out my career in, was a summertime park ranger at Willow River State Park. And basically, a park ranger is a police officer assigned to that state park. And you can go to other parks as well, but that's the way to look at it, that's a little city or community, and that's your police officer. So a couple of years ago, we made the transition as a department to go away from a park ranger title or position, and the Wisconsin Conservation Wardens have taken, I would say taken over is not probably the best word, but we now have full responsibility for the state parks. So all of the law enforcement within our agency is now with the Bureau of Law Enforcement. So, that's unique. That's a change for us because, when a lot of people signed up for the job, they like the freedom of going and working, what they want to work within their county or community. And with the parks coming into play now we do have Wisconsin wardens that are, taking on park shifts. So it's more of a traditional police role, if you will, where you're working a 9 to 5 shift somewhere versus kind of waking up and setting your own schedule, if you will. That is, I'll mention that real quick, and then we do have a question, which is good. So most of our wardens don't have a set schedule. They don't actually have to report to somewhere at a certain time. We hire people that are what we call self-motivators, people that we don't have to wake up out of bed or ask them to do something. You take our training, which we provide at the Wisconsin State Patrol Academy in Toma. You'll go there for, I think we're 15 weeks, somewhere around there, 17 weeks. And you'll get all the training that you need, and then you'll go to a field training officer, 3 of them, and they will help teach you about their station and how to do the field work. Let me get to this question here. Make sure I got it. If someone is interested in becoming a Wisconsin warden, what classes and ways can they get involved? That's a really good question. Yeah, great question. What classes can you take? A lot of what we're looking for is maybe to, the Future Farmers of America. That's a great way to kind of get started. A lot of the 4-H classes, I think, will start to introduce you to, the natural resources, the agricultural aspects of Wisconsin, and excuse me. I would also say, depending on what kind of level of interest you have, I would say that some of the chemical biology courses are also good because you start to understand, the fish and the amphibians, all of like our creatures out there. That would be a good start, is biology, some of the chemistry as it relates to, water quality. That would be good. I'm trying to think of what other courses you could have. I will say this, we offer a ton of courses ourselves. And like I mentioned before, the ATV safety, the snowmobile safety, boat safety courses. We have bow safety. We must have at least 9 different safety courses that you can get involved with. We also have our NASP program, which is the Archery in the Schools program. I thought it was NASP, National Archeries in the School program. Yes, that's what it was. So that's just basically, it's a bow and arrow course for people to start practicing their skill set there. Got another one here. What is the best part of your job that gives you the most satisfaction? Very good one. It's been different. In each role I've had in the department, that satisfaction came in different ways. Honestly, when I was in the field as a field warden and I caught somebody shooting deer at night on somebody's field that, was taking a really nice trophy animal away from somebody else. I can't tell you how many stories, that I was involved with out there that, there's a really nice deer on somebody's property, and their 13-year-old son or daughter has been watching it, and they so badly want to harvest this animal for bow season or for gun deer season. And then, somebody comes along on a weekend and shoots this animal at 2 o'clock in the morning on 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning. And, that child is crushed and knows that that opportunity is now gone. Having the ability to go catch that bad guy and hold them accountable for what they did, that's huge job satisfaction right there. A lot of high fives. When I was an investigator and I finally uncovered, after being lied to multiple times by different people, when I finally uncovered the truth to something, and, and there's always risk reward in that. I remember basically taking if you guys know what an excavator is, with a great big hook, making a current company tear down part of their building and rip up their entire cement floor because I had really good information that they had buried a significant amount of hazardous waste underneath that building when they built it. And when after we ripped up that floor and we had that building torn apart, I can't tell you how nervous I was to make sure that that stuff was there, because that's just a very sensitive thing, tearing apart a business. I would say on a hunch, but it just is. And then all of a sudden you see it. I saw it there. I saw the boxes. I saw everything that the person that we were working with, or people that we were working with, said would be there. And when I saw it was there, I was like, yes, we got them. And we're going to hold this person accountable, because the danger they put that community in by putting that stuff in the ground could have contaminated their drinking water and caused major health concerns within that community. So catching that bad guy felt really good. In this current role, what brings me the most satisfaction is a couple things. I've been able to, I would say, increase our relevancy as an agency or as a bureau by doing lots of things. I've been able to join forces with Wisconsin Department of Justice and put some of our wardens on a statewide tactical team. You probably saw those guys in the army green walking across on the screen. That's our tactical team. And we don't have our own. We share with Wisconsin Department of Justice and Wisconsin State Patrol. So what that does is it really boosts our relationships with the other agencies, state, federal, local law enforcement agencies. It brings people together. It showcases us in a really good light, shows us as professional, capable. The Wisconsin wardens are very well trained, and this is an opportunity to put that training to use. So, some of the most high profile stuff that goes on in the state, like I said, presidential visits, vice president, a foreign dignitary comes in. We've had the Dalai Lama here. Our team is there, and we're a part of it. And it just feels good knowing that sometimes. And let's see, probably a second part to that.
No, but one of our Ready Camp advisors from Lake Holcomb is actually part of, they're involved in their teaching a lot of the different courses that you had. So so those actually, all three who are on today have not been to a Ready Camp before. So we actually give like compass training and things like that. And
Oh, sure.
like when we're out in the woods area, we talk about what plants we should avoid and stuff too, to keep ourselves safe and stuff. But when you talked about the ATVs and the UTVs, I'm a registered nurse with an emergency department background, so I totally appreciate your work in protecting us that way, because you're right, they've just been increasing, and younger persons on them too, so you have to be so careful on those vehicles. Yeah. Damien or Janice?
3 leaves, let it be. Yeah. And if I'm being honest, current poison ivy right here. So
Oh,
it happened. Yep.
I had that once, and I had to have prednisone to get rid of it.
As a kid, I was very susceptible to it, and if I would get it, it'd go all over, and it was bad. I was on prednisone several times. I don't tolerate it very well. If I walk by the plant, I'm going to get it. So,
Cool.
yeah, hopefully that helped. A lot of the other stuff, you saw some airplanes in there. We do some enforcement work from airplanes periodically, not as much as we did in the past, but you saw a little. They showed the airplane, then they showed this little unit on the wing kind of move from here to there, and it said FLIR on there. That's a FLIR. It's thermal imaging. What it does is it helps us find people at night that are lost or hurt. And so the department, not the bureau, but our department actually has, I think, 6 or 7 airplanes now. I can't remember what we're up to or where it's at, but we have those airplanes, and 2 of those have those thermal imagers on there. So our pilots will fly very, very often to find missing people, whether they were hunting or they were elderly, walked away from their house, or a young child walks away from their house, which happened very, very recently up in Sawyer County. We put those airplanes to use, and we fly missions at night or during the day to help find people. Search and rescue is a huge part of what we do that I probably should have mentioned even earlier. Especially at even some of our state parks where people like to climb, and we have a lot of cliffs that people climb and fall and get hurt. So I would say, you know, you mentioned the nursing piece there. Yeah, we're first responders too. We go to accidents to help people, and we obviously try to be a big part of any search and rescue efforts. Question here: do we use drones? Yes, we do. We very recently started a drone team within our bureau. So we have, and maybe this is a little bit too in depth, but we've got 6 what we call mission-ready teams, and these are consist of wardens that are from all around the state, but they can go anywhere in the state to deploy to do a certain task. And one of those teams is our drone team, and their number one purpose is for search and rescue.
What happened? Are you okay? What happened? I want to make sure you're okay.
I thought we had a question, but I think somebody was just off mute there. So that's one of the things that we do is we belong to the Wisconsin Drone Network, which consists of law enforcement agencies, fire departments, and others, private people around the state that own drones and respond to these emergencies. So yes, we do. Yes, we have them, but they're very new to us. We're still in the process of actually purchasing our full set of drones, which I think is going to be 6, and I think right now we have 4.
Cool.
And obviously the intent is, as we can, to put night vision capabilities on those drones, because that's mostly the time that you need them. When people get lost or hurt or whatever, nighttime is critical, and you need the thermal imagers and night vision on those pieces of equipment in order to be effective. So we have to work towards that, because that stuff is not cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other kind of questions that you want to hear about that I didn't cover?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're
Just
okay.
getting other video ready.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good time for a break. Maybe people can watch the video, then ask a question or two after that.
Sure. Okay. So do you want to give any introduction to the video?
Yeah, I can. So this is one of our Hmong conservation wardens, and you know, it's always good to have diversity in your department and have people from different backgrounds and history, so that you can understand some of the challenges and biases and other things that go on in the world. And this is just it's a very short clip, but this is one of our Hmong hunters that, you know, he's able to go back into his own community and explain things in a fashion to his community that they understand and resonate with, maybe better than I could go in and say that. So I think this really helps promote, you know, put people on a level playing field, partnerships, and like I said, it just it's a very nice way for us to have a dedicated way to communicate with a certain culture, if you will. So diversity is great. You'll only be stronger for it, and here's a good example of it.
I came from Thailand. I was born in a refugee camp. and I've been a Wisconsin Conservation Warden since 2016. The importance of being a law enforcement officer as a minority is you can bridge that gap between two communities. My best day as a warden would be knowing that I made a difference. We're at a turning point in our history right now where we can make a difference in the future. Nothing lasts forever if you don't take care of it. And that's why I became a Wisconsin Conservation Warden.
Yeah, so very quick video there. I just it's a very powerful one in my mind. Even though the video is short, it just shows you that I think I've already over explained it. The importance of having that diversity within your law enforcement agency or your department, how incredibly important that is, and how everybody benefits from it. Like you said, it bridges that gap between two communities. It increased the level of trust and understanding between the two, and we're very fortunate to have that opportunity. So let's see. Okay, no more questions. Is there anything else that you guys would like me to touch on that we haven't talked about?
Well, thank you, though. Thank you very much for sharing of your story and everything. I think this was very exciting, and we love the outdoors, so we're very thankful for all that you do.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. You said, what's the most satisfying part of your job? The whole reason I got into this job in the first place was because of how much I enjoyed the natural resources and our environment. And I wanted to be here for my kids and my kids' kids. And it won't be if we don't take care of it. And it won't be if we don't have people that watch over it. So,
Right,
well,
exactly. So Damien says, thank you so much.
you're welcome. Good luck to you.
Brian, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome anytime.
All right.
Okay,
So-
well, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks. Call anytime, chat anytime. You guys, if anybody ever has any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. If you need anything from me or the department, use me as your contact.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
for the Ready Campers, Monday, because we're cut short this week with the Ready Camp and the law enforcement, we will be having another law enforcement officer on Monday. And so he is Blake Brandner, and he is actually a former Ready Camper. So it'll be great to hear from Blake and all of his experiences since he's actually attended Ready Camp. So, and he, just a little bit of a warning that him and his wife are expecting their first baby. So if that happens over the weekend, there's a chance that he may not be here on Monday, but he's very dedicated and wants to share his experience. He'll probably go later in the week then. So, all right. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you on Monday, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, Damien. Bye, Danielle.